Hello and welcome to Salando Soundwaves. I'm Fletcher Wilson, and today is week 7, day 34. We're going to be reading from James 1:12 through 15. Blessed is the man who perseveres under trial, because when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. When tempted, no one should say, God is tempting me, for God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. But each one is tempted when dragged by his own evil desire. He is dragged away and enticed. Then after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. Let's consider our 7 arrows. What does this passage say? What did this passage mean to its original audience? What does this passage tell us about God? What does this passage tell us about man? What does this passage demand of me? How does this passage change the way I relate to people? What does this passage prompt me to pray to God? Now let's look at the brief devotional about the passage on page 49 of our book. God is not to blame for our sin. Think back to the story of Adam and Eve. He did nothing but good for them. He gave them a multitude of blessings. Even his rule about the tree was a good gift. He was protecting them from harm. Once they'd sinned, Adam and Eve could not blame God, so they pointed fingers at the serpent and one another. James, Jesus' half-brother, made the same point about the sin of all people. We can't accuse God of tempting us to sin. The problem, as we have seen, is in our own hearts. The desire to sin comes from within us, and once sin is birthed, it grows to bring death, both in this life and in the life to come. When we experience the consequences of our sin, we should never blame God, but turn to him in repentance. Thanks for joining us today, and we hope to see you tomorrow.